welcome everybody. I am being joined by Sally, who is the founder and CEO of Sensitive Matters. We are sat here together in California at the American Society of Reproductive Medicine Conference 2022, and we're going to be talking about routes to parenthood, what's exciting for next year, how the scientific world and like-minded providers are focusing efforts on supporting people who are looking at donor conception, surrogacy, third-party reproduction, and really everything there is to help people on their unique journey wherever they are. And Sally's done a wonderful job with these personalised books, customisable books, to help people who have or are having children who are donor conceived or born through surrogacy talk to their children. So, welcome, Sally.
Thank you. Thanks, Henry. It's nice to chat again.
Could you give us a little bit of background about Sensitive Matters, why you're here today at this conference?
Brilliant. So, Sensitive Matters is the only organisation that provides fully customisable books for talking to children about egg or sperm donation or surrogacy, and we also do adoption, actually. And as you know, that means that you can start with the base book, but you can edit the words, you can change the pictures, you can use your own photographs, and you can truly make it your story, not just a story about your journey to and how your child or children came about.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. I'm actually in one of the pictures here reading the book to my daughter. I don't want the stand for it, but I think it's up there somewhere. There we are.
There we are, in the corner.
So very happy to be included in this, as the books are very special to us as a family, and we use them every day to speak to our children about how they came into the world. The conference this year, ASRM, can you tell us a little bit about any sort of trends or themes you're seeing around third-party reproduction and why you're here?
So we've been really excited to see organisations starting to engage with us about our corporate sponsorship program, since we're able to provide a branded version to organisations that they can gift to their patients, customers, and we're really excited that we're seeing that level of engagement with that sponsorship program. So that's really something that's good for us.
So how does that work? So if someone uses a surrogate through an agency, for example, or uses a clinic, perhaps?
Yes. So we've had a lot of interest from some of the surrogacy agencies who, yes, they would gift the book basically to their clients, and their clients would then go online and make their book the same. They'd customize it, etc., and they would receive their book with the branding of the clinic,
the provider
that they work with. Yes.
So in essence, they can obviously input into it what they want and use their own terminology, their own photos, etc., which is amazing. But they also have that nice reminder of the people that help them.
Yes,
with their journey from a medical standpoint.
Which is also nice for the child, because the child will always have that book and then knows also where they could go potentially in the future to get more information.
Absolutely. Have you spoken to many people here during the conference or seen anything? Because the title of the ASRM conference this year is Genes, Gametes and Genetics. And there are lots of people at the conference who are supporting people with surrogacy, egg donation, sperm donation, etc. What have you seen coming out of this event in terms of conversations and the way that things are advancing to support people looking at alternative routes to parenthood?
Well, from our perspective, I guess we haven't really participated in the talks. So the genes, gametes, etc. has been, our conversations have been a lot with the counsellors that come past, and people coming to ask us specific things. People are really excited about our product. People thank us all the time for providing this. But what we've seen is people asking us if we could be if we produce our books in other languages.
Okay.
So that's been a big thing for us, and we're considering doing a version in Spanish next year, because that's one of the bigger, it's obviously one of the most widely spoken languages other than English. So
and also
that's something that we're gonna think about doing.
And also, so I mean, being here in America, there's obviously a lot of donor conception that happens and surrogacy that happens in America, so it makes sense. And a lot of people also go to Spain, don't they, for donor conception?
They do, but I think there's a prediction that in America, it's in a few years' time, Spanish is actually going to overtake English as the dominant language. So yes,
wow.
so that's why I think if we were going to create another language, the first one we would do would be Spanish. So that's a big thing for us.
Absolutely. In terms of next year and what you guys are doing, what are your kind of focuses?
So our focus is going to be, well, we as I said, we're going to think about doing a version in Spanish, but something that has really been a sort of an aha moment for us that's come out of this is that we've realized that we're not providing enough support for donors and the children of donors.
Right.
And of course, we think that we could really be doing more to support donors. Of course, once a donor goes on to have children of their own, they know for certain that those children have half siblings somewhere. So we think that that's something that we really could be providing support on, and we're going to be thinking about that, putting that into our future plans.
That's excellent. And from the sort of psychologists you've spoken to, whether that's here or back in the UK, would you say that most people are now suggesting that those who have used surrogates or donor conception and adoption should be talking to their children about it from a young age?
Oh, we violently agree with the counsellors. We're totally on the same page. The counsellors are saying, they are telling people you've got to tell from an early age. Sometimes there's a little disconnect because sometimes the medical profession is still sort of, well, it's up to the parents, etc. The counsellors are saying no, you need to talk to them about this. So yes, there's definitely we have an immense amount of support from the counselling community, and who recommend our books because they're customizable and really sort of help people tell their story. But yes.
I've been speaking to a couple of fertility specialists that we work with and talking to them about your books, and it was amazing to see their response because they didn't know that this kind of support existed, and so to get clinics on board in terms of understanding that even if a pregnancy occurs, there's a long chapter afterwards which parents are navigating as their child forever.
We have to kind of get and we are seeing organisations starting to realise that they need to worry about the whole journey, not just the journey to pregnancy. And there are some organisations that are really getting there, and that's really excited us to see that. But there is still a way to go because I think sometimes there is sort of a medical mindset of I've done my job, you're pregnant, and then that's it. That's all I need to do. So,
because I was saying to a fertility specialist the other day that when you've had a fertility struggle, whatever that looks like, obviously it's wonderful when you get positive and it works out. But that fertility struggle never goes. It's always there, and you're always going to remember it, and it can always be triggering still, can't it?
Yes. So it's you're right, and it's not just supporting it's supporting the whole journey, the mental health of the parents if they've gone through a struggle, and the resulting children, and supporting them in thinking that we are creating human beings, and those human beings have rights and they have needs. So it's important that we do support the entire journey.
Absolutely. Anything else you think would be useful for people to know about the way that science seems to be moving forward and conversations that are being had and developments in the space?
I think what we're going to see in the future is, and we're seeing these things developing, is a great deal more openness. I think it's going to become the norm to be open, especially in America, Western Europe and Australia. as in the past it was the norm to not tell, I think it's becoming the norm to tell, and I think we're also going to see a move away from anonymous donors to, at the very least, ID release donors. I think this is a trend going forward.
It's a really good point, because I'm sure I've had conversations with some sperm egg banks where they're not now taking on anonymous donors.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. That there is a trend, and it is through this openness people are starting to understand, and because the voices of donor conceived people are starting to be heard, I think that people are starting to take up and take note that, you know, it's not necessarily a good thing to have an anonymous donor.
What I love about Sensitive Matters and what you, Sally, and the team do here is that you speak to not just people who are trying to conceive through donor conception, surrogacy, or adopting, but you also speak to people who are donor conceived adults, to find out their feelings around the language that's used, the ways to communicate, and it's so important.
It's absolutely essential, and I want to just give a shout out to an organisation that I think is really doing an outstanding job, and that's the European Sperm Bank, who has partnered with us to create a branded book for customers who've had a child with one of their sperm donors. But they've gone to a great length to provide this kind of support we've been talking about to the family, and to help, you know, talk to those children, etc. And they've really considered the entire journey and providing that support. And I'm applauding organisations like the European Sperm Bank and other organisations that are getting it and getting how important this is, and are there, and they're doing their bit and making a route, you know, donor conception a viable and good way to have a family without there being secrecy, without there being psychological damage down the line.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And any last thoughts or ways, can you tell people how they can find out more about Sensitive Matters? We're going to link up Sally's fantastic website in our bio, so people who are watching back can have a look and check it out. In terms of your books, at what stage of the journey would you suggest people look into creating a book?
So the books are because you can kind of make it your own, and because the photo book has photos and illustrations. We've had customers make them for babies, and we actually advise that you start talking to your child as early as possible, because you practice the story and you practice the telling, and it becomes easy for you to then, you know, it's not a big deal for you to in the telling. But so I'd say, you know, from the time the child is born, a good time to start reading to them is probably from about 18 months, 2 years. They really like the photos of themselves at the back at that age, but slowly, as they get older, they start to absorb more, and you just continue the conversation. So my son is now at the stage where he's grasped the concept of the gestational surrogate. He's still, I think, the idea that there was someone who donated an egg is a bit vague in his mind, but he understands the concept of the gestational surrogate. But we will keep on the conversation, and we keep talking about it, and this is it. It isn't a one and done. It is an ongoing, as you know, it's an ongoing conversation that is going to take place over their lifetime, really.
With the books that we've made through you, which are wonderful in terms of the sequence of how we put them together with our own personal photos and the wording we use. It is quite sweet, but when I was reading them to one of our children the other day, they got, there's a picture of my specialist in there, and then on the next page there's a picture of our donor as a child, and they were pointing to my specialist saying, "Is that the donor?" And I was saying, "No," but we use different wording and practice it, as you say, to really get them to understand as much as they can do at that young age without knowing too much about what conception is.
But the point is that they know it, and their understanding will grow, but they know it. That's the important thing. They know it, and that they know that there was something specific about the way they came into the world.
Exactly.
So I think that is the important thing. So you were talking about how to get us. So we are sensitivematters.net, and that is where people can go on and make their books. You can go on and try and see what it's like to make a book, how easy it is. The website doesn't require you to register until you want to save a project. So you can easily have a play around and see what is possible.
Someone was just asking where we are. We are at the American Society of Reproductive Medicine Conference 2022 in California, and delightful to see you in person, Sally.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, and please do check out our link in bio to find out more about sensitive matters.
Thank you.
Thanks.